Imagine living in a world where if your house collapsed and killed someone, you, the builder, would be executed. Or if a surgeon botched an operation, his hands would be cut off. Sounds brutal, right? Welcome to Babylon, nearly 4,000 years ago, where the Code of Hammurabi laid down some of the strangest, harshest, and most fascinating laws in history. And here's the crazy part. These laws didn't just shape Babylon, they shaped the very idea of justice for civilizations to come. The Code of Hammurabi is one of the oldest legal codes in human history. Carved into a giant black stone stele, it lists nearly 300 laws, covering everything from trade and property to family and medicine. But this wasn't just some dusty set of rules. It was propaganda, justice, and social control all rolled into one. So today we're diving into the weird, the shocking, and the surprisingly familiar world of Babylonian law. Let's set the scene. Babylon, around 1750 BC. A thriving empire of temples, merchants, and farmers, ruled by King Hammurabi. Life was bustling, but also chaotic. Disputes over land, markets, marriages, everything needed rules. So Hammurabi carved his laws into stone and placed them where everyone could see. It was justice made public and permanent. Now let's talk about the fun part, the laws themselves. Law 229. If a builder constructs a house and it collapses, killing the owner, the builder shall be put to death. Law 215. If a surgeon causes the death of a patient during surgery, his hands shall be cut off. Law 196. If a man puts out the eye of another man, his eye shall be put out. Yes, the famous eye for an eye. But it wasn't all gruesome. Some laws dealt with trade, contracts, even wages. Like if a farmer's crop was ruined by flooding, he could delay paying his debt. Still, the harshness stands out. Justice wasn't about fairness, it was about deterrence. Here's where it gets interesting. These laws weren't just about keeping order. They were political tools. By carving them in stone, Hammurabi was saying, I'm the source of justice. I decide what's right and wrong. But not all people were treated equally. Different punishments applied depending on your social class. A noble injuring another noble? Eye for an eye. A noble injuring a slave? Just a fine. So was this really justice or social control dressed up as law? Whether fair or not, the Code of Hammurabi changed everything. It was one of the first times laws were written down and made visible to the public. This idea, that rules must be clear and accessible, carried forward into later civilizations, the Romans, the Greeks, even into modern law. And phrases like an eye for an eye still echo in our culture today. Now here's the fun part. How much of Babylon still lives with us? Think about building codes today. If a building collapses, guess who gets sued? The builder. Doctors face malpractice lawsuits. Merchants still follow contract law. We may not cut off hands anymore, thankfully. But the logic behind many of these laws, it's still with us. So, were the Babylonians brutal or brilliant? On one hand, the punishments were extreme. On the other, they created a system where people could appeal to written law instead of pure power. In a way, Hammurabi's stone wasn't just law, it was civilization itself, carved in rock. So next time you hear the phrase, an eye for an eye, remember, it came from a Babylonian king nearly 4,000 years ago. And while the punishments may sound barbaric today, the idea that laws should be written and public, that's the foundation of justice as we know it. What do you think? Were these laws justice, cruelty, or both? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this dive into ancient law, don't forget to subscribe for more hidden stories of history.